Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. I'm John and this is my hill climb sprint car. I'm going to do an update basically on all the things that I've gotten accomplished in the last week or so. It's been a little over a week, it's been some major projects have been checked off, and then some other things doesn't look like I did a whole lot, but I've been working on. So like the computer stuff, working with the HP, Holly HP system, that's a little new to me. But we're at the point where we're having to do that. So pretty excited, and we're just trying to get all the checks done before we start this thing up. Build oil pressure, try to find some leaks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So without further ado, I'm going to show you through the car and I'll show you what I'm working with. Okay. So I'm going to work from the front to the back, and then go from there. So you can see I got I got two of them, the belts. I got the accessory belts off. When I'm firing off the engine, I don't want to worry about the accessories right now. We'll worry about those individually down the road. But the first thing we'll start out with is the radiator. The radiator needs to have a couple of pinholes welded up. So for my first aluminum welding project, I'm pretty satisfied if it's only just a couple pinholes. So I'll get those welded up. The other leak that I found on the water system was there's a plug on the bottom side of this. If you wanted to run that out there, you could run it to this side. But they didn't seal the plug, so I just got to seal the plug and throw it back in there. Other than that, though, water system's pretty solid. As you can see, I got the header on, and the header, I got the wideband O2 sensor in there, and I need to shorten this. And then I'm also going to probably route this into the cockpit and then run it along that frame rail there. And then when I shorten this, I can keep the whole thing inside the cockpit, so it's one less thing that I have to run through the firewall. So that'll be nice. Well, we're over here. The oil pan, I got to drop that, and there's just a little spot that I didn't weld on the back side of one of these fittings, just because I couldn't get in there. There's not a whole lot of room. So I'm going to drop the oil pan, and I'm going to see if I can get it from the inside to seal it off. And if I can do that, then we should be golden. If I can't do that, maybe I'll try some, they have like oil pan sealing compounds, like epoxy compounds and stuff like that. If it's just a little pinhole, then I don't think I have to worry too much about it. So I would try that. Anyway, big thing. My best buddy came in clutch. Bryn Gone, the guy's a freaking beast. Hell of a race car driver, and his race cars are beautiful. He always builds super nice sprint cars. So him being my best friend, I asked him if he would come over and help me fit this thing, and he never hesitated, or he did not hesitate to. So I was really appreciative of that, and I think he did a killer job. So I need to get this done so that I can get that mounted. So that's more on the fuel system in a little bit. Moving on into here, I had to fix some of the wiring to the ignition. I didn't have the switch to the ignition wired correctly, but now I do, and I'm starting to work with the computer. Still figuring it out. I'm probably going to have to get a bass tune from my tuner to really start this thing off, but I have I have tried to start it, but I didn't want to actually start. I was just trying to build some oil pressure, but I had the ignition on and the fuel was running. So if it was ready to, it probably would have fired off. But that's not really what I was going for. I was just trying to build enough oil pressure to see if I can find any leaks. And sure enough, I found one, which hopefully that's it. Other than that, the cockpit, I'll talk about the shifter over there in a second. The cockpit hasn't really seen too much except for the fuel lines and the shifter over there. So I'm going to move on over there. All right. Well, I guess I'll show you this. This is that power steering line I was talking about in the last video. I think it came out pretty nice. It goes all the way over to there, onto the power steering pump. So that's cool. That worked out. Happy about that. Got my rinky-dink temporary oil dipstick. Got to get one of those flex deals for that. And you can also see I have an O2 bung here in case we wanted to run the wideband O2 on this side. Not too well versed with all that stuff, so I'm still learning on where it's supposed to be placed and what information it provides and all that stuff. I know where it goes and how to make it work. So I just got to figure out why. Anyway, these are the power steering pump lines. So that one's the pressure, one's the return. And then one goes on the right side of the engine, one goes on the left side. So the pressure comes directly from the pump, and then the return goes into the reservoir, and then the reservoir feeds the pump. So that's how that all works. The other thing here is I got my shifter. So I welded all this together. I put a bung here, and then I put a bung inside of this, and super basic and simple. I had another piece, or I had a piece of chromoly set aside for a project up at the front, but I don't need that right now, so I used it for this. Cut it down to the right length that I needed to allow for 2 inches of throw, because that's what this cable and what the transmission requires. So I had to, between here and here, when I shift, it will have exactly 2 inches of travel without messing up my hands and, where it doesn't allow me to hit it as easy. So I digress. The mount on here needs to be replaced. It won't hold up to the stress of shifting too much. So I kind of anticipated that. I think what I'm going to do is just weld a tab on here, a big thick tab, and then that should be fine. But then that will also, if I move it forward, that will also allow me to have a little bit more room up here between the firewall and the shifter. At least the clutch lever. So moving that back even 2-3 inches will make a huge difference, and that only requires me to move this up a little bit. Not a big deal. What I did here was I cut a little notch out, put a bolt in as an axle basically, and then there's a little heim joint in there. And once I get a nice sturdy tab on there, everything should work pretty well. This side does deflect, but I kind of anticipated that. This is not a finished product. This thing right here, this was just a kind of a proof of concept. So now I need to go back and reinforce it. I'll probably end up using like aluminum angle to reinforce it. It's kind of like what I did up at the front for the power steering pump. So I'll probably do that, and then this is all going to get cut down to size, and do whatever post-processing I need to do to make it look nice and function well. It's got to function well, then it's got to look nice. So I've been playing with the Holley HP system, and I am totally not familiar with a whole lot of this stuff, but there's a lot of information out there to work with. So I've been kind of going through that and trying to teach myself a little bit. There are workshops that I understand that you can go take to learn how to use those. But we'll see if I'll need that a little bit down the road. Right now, I just want enough. I want a basic tune enough to start it, which I don't think will be hard to either do or obtain. Just got to make it happen. And then I also have to fix the oil pan first. So that'll probably take priority over everything. And then hopefully from there I could start doing final assembly on like the rear end, the front end, brakes. Still need to get like a few things for the brakes. I think just lines, really, just the short lines that go from here to the T-fitting over there, and then the same for up here. So not a whole lot to do. Got to fit the rest of the body. Got the side panels in. So I'm pretty happy about that. They came out really killer. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's laid out here that I got to sell. So I'm going to be putting that on Marketplace. If you guys are sprint car guys, look for that. It's coming soon. Bill came in clutch with this, this carbon fiber work. It's awesome. So I won't give you guys the full show of that until it's on the car. I think you guys appreciate it more when it's on the car. So anyway, guys, that's what I got for you this week. And hopefully you tune in for the next one. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel. I know there's people out there that are, that would love this project, especially people overseas where they don't get to see sprint cars. Maybe this is something they can relate to, being, hill climb being really big in other parts of the world. So if you can like, share, and subscribe, I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, just leave a question in the comments, and I will be sure to answer it as quickly as possible. So I appreciate it, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.